A couple of weeks ago, I watched a docu-series on Netflix called Surviving Death. The purpose of the series was to explore through personal stories and research what happens after we die. I wanted to see what conclusions they came to and how they got there. Of course, the great conclusion that was reached was that there is life after death, which was no surprise to me. I believe in life after death. I believe that there's a place prepared for me. I believe that I'll be with God in a way that I cannot be with God here. I believe that it will be more wonderful than anything I can imagine. However, I will have to leave behind the loved ones here in some way. Or perhaps the more difficult part of death is for those who remain. Death isn't probably hard for the ones who've died. It's hard for the ones who must go on without them. We grieve. We have loved, and we're no longer to experience the love the way we once did. In this docu-series, it's the loved ones of these people who've died that are quite desperate to know where they've gone, to find some proof of some kind that their loved one has lived on, whether a parent, a child, a life partner. In addition to their own grief, they were burdened with the fear that all the goodness and promise that lay in that person, in their heart or their soul, or however they wanted to think about it, that the best parts of their loved one had come to an end. And they were desperately seeking some sign that this was not true, that their loved one's true self would continue to be part of the world, the universe, this great existence. Can you relate to that hope? The disciples were in that place as they gathered. They were afraid for their lives. They were feeling lost. And so incredibly aware of that space left in their hearts where their teacher and friend, Jesus, had been. They were grieving. They were sad. And they were unsure. And Jesus appeared to them. The very thing they wanted most, to see Jesus again. It was what they needed. It's what we all need, isn't it? When we lose someone that we love. If only we could see them. Because we're often hurting or lonely, and sometimes, like the disciples, we might be angry or afraid, unsettled, just not at peace. And of course, what does Jesus offer? Jesus offers them peace. And not just any peace, he offers them his peace, the peace of Christ. That great and beautiful gift of the peace of Christ. If you're lucky, you've always believed in life after death. If you were lucky enough to be raised with a faith in a destination beyond this life, a purpose that you're striving for, then like me, you only need a little selfish reassurance every now and then, reminding that everything's going to be okay. And we do need that sometimes. You know, it's okay to need that. You can be a very faithful Christian and still need a little reassurance from time to time. Because I know that I have had great faith in that place that I'm going, but when someone really, really close to me has died, you do have a little bit of concern about where they've gone. You really know, but the part of you that's missing them just wonders what that's all about, because we can't really know. And that's what the gospel's about today. We don't get to really, really know. We only need to practice our faith to keep our bond to God strong, to help us remain in confidence of what's been promised to us. God's kingdom gets a little bit stronger as we practice our faith. We get a little nearer to where we're going right here while we're present on earth. And for those who do not grow up knowing that we've survived death, this visit from Jesus to the disciples is for them as miraculous as it was for the disciples. Jesus survived death and then appeared to others. It's impossible to imagine. You have to see it to believe it. Thomas only says what anyone would have thought, I think, not because he doubted, but because he wanted so badly to believe that it was true. So badly, I think he didn't trust himself. And are we fooled or are we faithful? This is a question we face as people of faith in a secular world. And people look for proof, the proof that Thomas was able to get, but that Jesus knew would not be available to the rest of us. And so he challenges us with the truth. Will you only believe it if you see it? Or will you believe it in faith? Amen.